In this lesson, we'll see how to quickly create several similar assets at once. To create multiple assets, it's the same transaction used to create one, but you put the number of assets that you're creating on the first screen. The assets can be similar or different, but they must all belong to the same asset class. You'll create one, and then when you save, you choose if you want them all to be identical or if you want each to have a slightly different description or cost centre, etc. When you save the first asset, you'll see a new screen saying you're creating multiple assets and asking if you want to maintain them, in which case you get another pop-up where you can amend some of the fields. Otherwise, the system will create 10 identical assets. In this example, I changed the description of the first two assets and added 2 inventory numbers. I could have changed them all and changed the cost centres, profit centres and segments as well. In this particular example, the system has been configured to include the evaluation group as well, and your support team could add other fields here, for example, the serial number. When you save the assets after that, you'll get a message saying the numbers of the assets that have been created. The Display Asset Master Worklist is new functionality in S/4HANA and Fiori, and there's no exact equivalent transaction in the GUI. You'd probably need to run the individual Display Asset Master transaction AS03 to see the master data detail. All assets, when first created, will have a subnumber of 0. Additional subnumbers can be used to group parts of an asset together, for example, a monitor and a processor, which are always used together as a single desktop computer, but perhaps you want to record the values and serial numbers separately. Typically, you'd create the main asset first with Create Asset Transactions, then go into a separate transaction called Create Asset Subnumber, AS11 in the GUI, and enter the main asset number and go to the next screen. As standard, the system will assign subnumbers sequentially and automatically. However, the asset class configuration can be changed to allow external assignment, which means you can enter any 4-digit number as required, even if not in sequence. You can change the description of the asset, but not the asset main number text. Normally, the sub-assets would share the same cost objects as the main asset, and you'd not be able to assign a different cost centre to a sub-number. Here I have run the Display Asset Master Worklist so that you can see that asset 60003 has 2 subnumbers. In other reports, such as the asset balances, you can choose whether to summarise everything at main asset level or split out by subnumbers. The nearest equivalent GUI app is Transaction AR01, but as it's slightly different, I'll go through it in a separate lesson later.